Alright, so the first order of business is going to be cutting out your pattern pieces. You want to cut out 4 waistband pieces and 2 skirt pieces. This pattern is super easy to draft on your own. All you need is your waist measurement, your hip measurement, and then the height of both of the pattern pieces that you want. The waistband's going to be half your waist measurement to half your hip measurement with a curve. If you have a tailor's ruler, that should do it. And then the skirt is just 3 times your hip and your desired length. After cutting out your fabric pieces, you're going to want to do your pleats. I marked out 1-inch intervals across the entire piece of fabric and then just folded them into each other and ironed them down as I go. If you want to add lace like I did, I prefer to add it on first just so I don't have to deal with sewing something that's already pleated and ironed. Make sure you trim your seam allowance or you'll have the bulk issues I had. Next, we are going to sew our waistband pieces together at the top and then understitch them afterwards. Understitching is just where you sew the seam allowance to the lining fabric so it doesn't pop through and you have a nice, even seam. When you're understitching, you want to make sure you're pulling the seam apart so everything lies as flat as possible, and then sew as close to the seam as you comfortably can. Some people like to do it from the right side, but I am not that confident in my ability. Once the waistband's all taken care of, we're going to sew each pattern piece onto the skirt. I decided that I didn't want to sew the pleats down since I would be sewing the waistband on anyways, but it's probably a good idea to do that. I was just being lazy. Don't be lazy. The benefit of sewing the pleats down before you sew the seam is you can sew it with the waistband side up to make sure that that piece isn't wrinkling at all. It'll make your life easier. Just do it. Just like we did with the waistband, we are now understitching the skirt part. I'm doing a nice decorative stitch here because I just found the courage to use decorative stitches and I love them. Now we can move on to sewing the front and back panels together. We are flipping the waistband out and just sewing each of them together. Also, I measured my lace incorrectly, so at the end you just see me finishing it. We are so close to done. I flipped the skirt inside out and then folded the waistband down, folded the inner hem up, and now I am just top stitching that down so there are no raw edges. Our final step is to add the zipper. I'm trying a new methodology of closing both seams and then just opening up one to add the zipper into, so everything will be nice and ironed. I bragged about how easy zippers were on the internet, so I actually struggled with this and then redid it by hand, but I swear, zippers aren't really that hard, right? And here we have the final result. I'm really happy with how this came out. It's super cute. I might have made it a little bit shorter, but you know, it's an easy enough pattern to do again. Can't wait to see how the final cosplay turns out with all the green paint, and thank you guys for watching. Let me know if there's anything you want to see me make. Bye!